Okay guys, in today's video we are gonna keep working on the same project. First, let's move to the folder where I saved the Spring Boot directory. Here let's go to the front part, and here we're gonna go to the command line tool in the Windows. Now here I'm gonna create a new Angular with using the engine so engine the name of our app, which I'm gonna call it coffee shop front, and I'm gonna add the routing and add the style. Now everything is okay. Let's wait for the dependencies to be installed. So let's wait a little bit. Now everything should seems to be working as expected. Now let's move to the VS Code. Now we have the baseline structure of our app. We have the src folder, the assets and the environments, and we have the package.json where we have all the dependencies and its versions. Now we have the Angular JSON, which have the structure of our project. So first let's let's go to the terminal. Here I'm gonna create a new component. To do that with Angular, I'm gonna use ng generate component. Those are shortcuts. You can do it the hard or the slowest version. You can do generate bottom component, and here you can create your component, which we can say components. I'm gonna use the fastest version. I'm gonna go generate components, and I'm gonna call it home. So that seems okay. No, we have a problem here because it seems like I'm not on the folder. Yes, that's expected. So I'm gonna go to the coffee shop front. Now I can create my component. Oh my gosh. Okay, now everything okay. Let's move to our components. Here we have our home component. Okay, now we have our TS file here, our HTML and CSS file. We are good to go. Now let's create a service. We're gonna go to, as we did before, go to the terminal and make ng new, ng generate service. I'm gonna make it services. I'm gonna call API, which will be our which will connect our backend with our front end. Okay, now if we go here, we see our service file. Okay, and now we are ready to go. Let's add, and let's go to the app model here. Here I'm gonna add HTTP client model. Which I can find it here, so I'm gonna add it. Let's go to the import. Let's add another import. Here I'm gonna create HTTP client model, HTTP client model, and it should be from the, I guess it's becoming HTTP, yeah, okay, HTTP client model, oh, okay, we have problem here, so everything seems okay. Now let's move back to the servers. Here I'm gonna inject our HTTP client. Okay, client model. Now that seems okay. The first method will get us all the coffees, which is the only on endpoint we have. So I'm gonna call it get all coffees, which will return us an observable of coffees. All right. We don't have a cafe object yet, so I'm going to create it here. Let's go back to terminal again. All right. Okay, here I'm gonna go with ng generate. This time I'm gonna generate an interface one, and I'm gonna call it coffee. All right. Okay, let's move back. All right, now let's move let's go to our interface. Here our coffee. First let's move back to the backend. We can see here in the backend we have our coffee model. Here I'm gonna see how I can do the same thing with the front end. The coffee interface will have the same attributes as the coffee class in the backend. So first the ID would be a number, because in TypeScript we don't have a long type. Then the name, which will be string, and the price, which will be a number also, because you don't have a double in TypeScript. All right, that's okay. What else we should have here? Okay, let's make return here. This HTTP I'm gonna call the get, and this HTTP, okay, get, all right, okay, and this base URL, which we don't have yet, plus coffees. All right, let's create this property, which will be equal to let's go to the browser, and here our okay, here our endpoint, which don't work for now, but I'm gonna fix it later. Okay, here the endpoint, or the base endpoint. So I'm gonna get a coffee table here, or a list of coffees. I don't know what's the problem here. Okay, I guess I know what's going on here. I injected the client model. It should be the client. Okay. Okay, we have an observable of coffee. Alright, I should add it here. So that seems okay for now. Let's go back to the home ts file. So here I'm gonna the components here. I'm gonna first inject our service. Second, I'm gonna create a method here. I'm gonna call get all coffees. All right. Here I'm gonna call the get all coffees in the service, and I'm gonna subscribe to it. In the subscribe, I'm gonna have a result and an error. All right. For the result, I'm gonna create coffees variable which hold our result return. Okay, let's fix it here. All right, after initializing this, let's add a error message. I'm gonna make an alert if there's a problem here. I'm gonna occurred. All right, everything is okay for now. Last thing I'm gonna do is adding let's try to run our app using ng-serve, and let's go back to the backend. Let's see in the controller we should I have added the or I still don't have it added, so I'm gonna add all right, cross origin annotation, which is essential or obligatory to connect our Angular app, because they are from different sources, so we need this annotation here. That seems okay and enough. Let's run our backend application, and let's go to our home component. For the front end, let's wait for it to compile. In the meantime, let's go to the HTML folder. Here I'm going to add UL. Now I'm going to add an ng4 to iterate over our list of coffees. So I'm going to go let coffee of coffees, and I'm going to here take the name and the price. Oh, sorry, here we have our price. Now everything should be working fine, so let's go to the browser and try to test it. Okay. Alright, I still have the default UI, so let's remove it here. Okay, and let's add the router outlet. Alright, that's fine. That should be enough. Now for the backend, everything is okay. We have atoms got started, and the last thing I guess is adding the routing, which I forget. So here in the routes, I'm gonna add path, right? I'm gonna go path, oh sorry, path home, and the component is home component. Okay, what else? I'm gonna add general import here, which will catch everything, and that should be enough. Okay, now let's go back to our. Okay, here we have an error occurred. That's the error which we added here. Okay, that's the error here. That seems to work. Now the last thing to make sure that we have the data send it into our front end. I don't know what's the problem here. So okay, we have a cross policy. We have, seems like the cross origin didn't work in the back end, and well, I don't know why. Okay, coffees. Let's make sure we are calling the right URL. So I'm gonna go back to servers, and here, okay, coffees. Alright, we have a typo here. That seems okay. Alright, we have our data here from the backend here to make sure that we have the same data. So I'm gonna go to cafes. Yes, we have our data here in the front end. That's it for this video. In the next video, we're gonna make sure that we have a better UI. So see you next time.